Good morning and good afternoon. I wanted to thank all of you for taking a few minutes today for our kickoff of our new Mastering ConnectWise RMM series. Just a quick introduction. My name is Jason Short. I'm part of the product management team at ConnectWise and Amit.
Hey, hi, this is Amit Mehta. I'm the Director for Product Management for RMM.
And you're over the next series, and hopefully you stay with us as we do this Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays each week, doing a small subject. We'll see a parade of different members of our product management team, from our partner success team, from our education team. We may get a couple of SEs here and there to come in and go through one topic in detail. And really the intent of this is a quick lunch and learn, because as we wanted to call this series, it's 12 o'clock somewhere. We know that it's really hard to find 30 minutes or an hour to go through a whole series of helpful hints. And what we wanted to do is break those down into small chunks, things that are really easy to absorb, things that you can implement immediately. So hopefully right after this webinar, as we talk about application monitors today, it's something that if you're not using them, pretty quick to go and take advantage of them. And all of these will be recorded. They'll be available on our university to download and watch later. So before we begin, just a couple of kind of housekeeping items. Again, we'll do this on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays each week, right around 11 a.m. Eastern, which is, I think, 4 p.m. UK time and 8 a.m. Pacific time, trying to be the most optimum time for everyone. We will have a live Q&A right at the end of each one of these sessions. That's through the chat. You'll be able to ask questions, and hopefully we'll be able to answer 2 or 3 of them, 4 of them, depending on how much time we have remaining. But really, this is also an introduction to our community. And we'll have links to this in our virtual community. It's a great place to ask questions, get responses from product team, from the engineering team, from our partner success team. So with that said, let's get into today's topic. And today's topic is related to custom monitors, and specifically the application monitor. And this is one of the topics that inspired us to go through this series. As we talk to partners every day, we see partners use some of our tools for really interesting use cases, but we also sometimes see partners that use maybe an unorthodox method to try to achieve a goal. And in this case, we were on a call with a partner a few weeks back, and they had developed a pretty complex but a pretty innovative way of identifying whether an application is on a device. They created a script that runs on a schedule. That script updated a custom field. That custom field then updated a dynamic group, and that dynamic group was then used to run another scheduled task to install an application. All of those steps, pretty long time for them to set that up, but all of those steps are really accomplished within the single application monitor. And so it's one that we wanted to highlight as a best practice, not just for ensuring that the right security tools, the right line of business tools are always available and on that device, but we have partners who use that for initial install of applications. They point this monitor as they onboard new clients, and that will deal with sometimes the initial deployment of applications rather than running that as a one-time job. Some of our partners look at that for an overall gold image. These are the 7 or 8 applications I want to make sure continue to be on this device, not just the first time I set it up, but maintaining those applications on that device. And one of the great use of anything in the monitor is that it will be able to create and close tickets. So create the ticket when it sees an application is missing, deploy the application, and when it's deployed and confirmed, to be able to reclose that ticket. And if it's not able to install the application for some reason, to leave that ticket open so that so it's something that a technician can go look at. But I'm sure you're done with me talking about it. I wanted to jump over to Amit, who's going to walk through some of the best practices, how to set this up. There's a couple of different screens we can set this up from, and some helpful hints as partners start using this.
All right. Thanks, Jason. So let me quickly try and share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Great, thank you. Go ahead, Amit.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. So as we talk about the application monitor, it's basically here in the menu for the alert management and monitors that takes you to the monitors landing page out here. And you click on the create monitor. You can, for an example, I'm going to use Google Chrome as the line of business, or a very commonly used application. And this is what my name is. I'll put the description to it. In the type drop down, you'll see an application. Once you click the application, you'll be prompted for severity. I'll keep it as non-impact, and I'm going to keep it as desktop operating system as my family. You can pick any one of these based on what would be important for you. Now, on the right-hand side here on the conditions section, we have this very simple form to fill in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say whenever Google Chrome is not present, I want an alert, and that alert should run an automation against it. So I can also say whether the application name that I'm looking at it's the exact name, or I can say the name matches. So if in case you want to go for the matching name, it's a contains. And if I want to go for the exact name, I can say it's installed. Now, I can also define the resolution part. Again, this is optional. In case if I want to close the ticket, I'll say whenever the application is installed on my machine, I want to make sure that ticket gets closed. But how I'm going to do this, I'm just going to run an automation here and say, and I'm just going to say, like, find that which one I want to do. Let's say for the example, I'm going to say install. I would have written up a script. For some reason, I'm not able to find that right now. And eventually, I look up the targets. So if I want to do it for Acme Corporation, I'll set the target as Acme Corporation. And if I'm going to hit the save button, now the system is going to start monitoring all the endpoints at Acme Corporation, looking out for that particular application. If it doesn't find that particular application installed on the machine, it is going to generate an alert, and the alert is going to trigger on it. If the automation is able to run and install that successfully, it's able to go ahead and close that particular ticket. So you have a record for the ticket that was supposed to be executed, and there is a ticket resolution part, which means the issue is resolved. Now, as we said, there are couple of ways by which we can do the same activity. One was the way I showed you. The other easier way is I just go to any machine. I click on any of the machine here, go to the applications tab, and we have a little icon over here called as actions. And let's say Amazon SSM agent is what I'm looking for. I can click on the action button. It jumps you right into the monitor section, and it will pre-fill all the required details. So if you see it filled up the name of the monitor, it picked up the type, it picked up the application, it starts with installed, but in case if you want to do it for larger endpoints, you can say, I want to start with it's not installed. And now I would like to close the ticket when it's installed on the machine. You could use the reverse way as well. Like if you don't want a specific application to be installed, like uTorrent or anything that you don't want your clients to have it on your machine, just put that name over here and mark it as installed, and you can mark the ticket as closed when that application is removed from the machine. So you could use it either ways how you would like to set it up. And on the target side, you could use any of the options. You can target any companies, you can target any sites, specific machines, or you would say, I want to do it across all the machines whenever they are being added to the monitoring, or you create a device group. You define the target endpoints, which should be there, and you can pick and choose. Let's say I say, I want to target all my 2023 installed agents on the machine. And I just hit the save button, it automatically starts applying that across all the endpoints in the monitoring system. Items, that's when the system notifies me. That's it. no complex monitoring logic to be written, no complex configurations. It's simple enough to just go ahead and set it up as a one-time activity, and REST RMM will take care of that, from identification to deployment to closing the tickets. Everything would be just done in one simple configuration. And that's our application monitor.
Yeah, thank you, Amit, for walking through that. And there's a couple of questions. We were going to wait for Q&A, but there's a couple that were poignant that people had typed in. And one of those questions was related to some of the tasks. There was a question, can tasks with variables be used in the automation that are triggered by the monitor? And the answer there is absolutely yes. We will cover in a future session best practices for creating scripts and creating tasks that are pulling against custom fields, maybe at the site level or at the company level. So if that application monitor was for an application that had a client-specific or a site-specific license and you had to pull that in, we'll cover exactly how to do that in one of these upcoming sessions. But thank you very much for walking through that, Amit. I think want to wrap up on a couple of items, and I know we're already getting a little bit past our 10-minute mark, but we see this used in a lot of cases. One is even just for initial software deployment, where we want to ensure that that application is continuing to be maintained on that machine, for what some of our partners have called moving from a gold image to a diamond image, which is hardening that image by ensuring those applications that should be there continue to be there, by being able to track that activity in tickets, and closing those tickets when that application has been installed, by really taking advantage of connecting monitors to all the automation rules, so that as we find things that are on those systems, we can easily remediate them automatically. So there's a lot of great use cases for application monitors. We've seen some customers and some of our partners create some really complicated custom monitors to do the same thing, which is great that they're taking advantage of custom monitors. But this is a pretty simple, pretty straightforward way to look at monitors. All right, let's go ahead and go back to the slide deck. I wanted to put up two resources here today. One is related to documentation on how to deal with custom monitors. There's also a video about adding automation to custom monitors. I knew we showed that briefly as Amit added the task. This video goes into a little bit more detail of adding additional automation to monitors, not just the application monitor, but other monitors overall. Also, we wanted to prep what we're going to be talking about starting next Tuesday. So today was our kickoff of this new series. Next Tuesday, we start a small series just about PSA integrations, troubleshooting that integration, mapping and maximizing the efficiency of the integration between this particular series is our ConnectWise RMM to the ConnectWise PSA. We'll be doing something similar for RMM to the Autotask PSA. And then lastly, next week, we'll be kicking off our policy, or our third-party patch and OS patch policy section. We have our 2 or 3 sessions just on patch that starts next Thursday. Again, these are meant to be 10 to 15 minutes. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you'll see a lot of us from the PM team get to know us, so that when you're in the virtual community, you can call us out and ask us a question or so, and we can be there to help. So let's wrap up today. I know there's a lot of questions that have come through in the chat, and we won't be able to get to each of them, but what we will try to do is a couple questions about QR codes with links, and I think we're going to try to share that in the large chat. I think Renee is hopping on that to share those links in the large chat, either Renee or Martha, who's helping us with this session today too. Let's see if there's a good question here. We already talked about the custom fields or custom variables in tasking. In the application monitor, can you create a rule that triggers if the computer is missing the application instead? I only see equals or contains and not a not flag. So, and feel free to jump in. I don't know if you understood that question, Amit, but there was one of the recent questions that have come in. There's almost 40 or so questions here, but that particular question was about some of the delimiters that you have in the basic application monitor versus what might be available in a complex monitor, which gives you the ability to create almost anything.
Right. Yeah, we can utilize the complex monitor in that case to merge different combination part, and we're definitely going to cover up the complex monitor in our upcoming sessions as well.
Yeah, so to do some of those more complex functions, you might have to move from the application monitor to a more complex monitor. Network monitors, we will cover network monitors. Actually, is a pretty exciting thing we have in the upcoming roadmap for some network monitors that'll be starting in Automate and then making its way to RMM with some AI-generated OID management. Some pretty exciting things we'll be doing here in the next couple of months. I'm excited to get that one out. Does the monitor uninstall or do a quite uninstallation? So I'll just answer that one quickly. Because that task can be almost any task. If you do almost the reverse of what Amit showed, which was first it's checking to see if an application, instead of not being there, an application is there, you can run a task. That task could easily do a dedicated or both quiet uninstall if the application allows for it, or a regular uninstall. But the task really can be set to do either one of those. Great question. But we are really now well above our target goal. We might have to change our target goal to 15 minutes so we can go into enough detail for each one of these slides. But I wanted to, again, thank everyone for joining us today. These are recorded. They will be up and available on University. We'll send out a note to each of our each of the registrants. And again, we have upcoming sessions every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, every week, going into one subject in detail. Thank you for joining. Thank you for so many of the great questions.